So the audition for the second seat at Red Bull continues in real time. Every time somebody wins or scores highly in a car that they're not supposed to, apparently Helmut Marko and Christian Horner make it known that they are taking notes on this in real time. And Lando Norris' second place this past weekend at the Chinese Grand Prix at the Shanghai International Circuit has been no different, because this evening we get word from Christian Horner via Helmut Marko that they are looking at Lando Norris yet and still, notwithstanding the fact that the guys just signed a brand new multi-year contract with the papaya coloured McLaren team. And I don't know how I feel about this. We've argued back and forth, right? Surely Lando has to find himself in the Red Bull car, right? The RB20, this is Adrian Newey. That gives you the opportunity that you need to fight with Max Verstappen. And Lando Norris has talked about this on a number of different occasions, hasn't he, chat? Patrick, Bruce, Jan. He said that he wants to fight for race victories, all of which have eluded him hitherto, erstwhile, as at April 2024. So why not then go and sit yourself in that Adrian Newey car and fight hand to hand, toe to toe with the best in the business, Max Verstappen? While some say it's a poison chalice, why would you? Max Verstappen has built up that team around him. He has Helmut Marko, Red Bull consultant, GmbH no less. That dude makes decisions. You'll remember 2015 and 2016 when Max Verstappen had that team, that Toro Rosso team built around him. People got sacked for listening to Helmut Marko even. They said that they needed to, again, decisions were meant to be made. Look at me, I can't even talk. I'm so enthusiastic. Decisions were meant to be made, said Franz Tost, team principal of Toro Rosso. They were meant to obey him uniformly across both garages, Carlos Sainz's and Max Verstappen's. Helmut Marko gave them carte blanche, didn't he? Listen to me, he said. And that meant that some of them got sacked for doing that. Helmut Marko went out and got them new jobs. That makes you know that these teams, okay, people are going to talk all this stuff about that car suits suits Max Verstappen's style, super sensitive, et al. But the point is, Max, owing to his speed, is very good at building these teams around him, right? I'm not saying that Adrian Newey has lent his design pen to building a Max Verstappen car. I think that's not true. That's far off what's gone on. However, to say that Christian Horner, Marko, that Jos Verstappen aren't acting in Max Verstappen's interest each and every single time is also fool's gold. Let's be honest. So you're going to tell me that Lando should absolutely go and find himself in that car? I don't know. It's techie. Very, very techie this. And again, lest we forget that F1 is a story told in tense. This is fine margins, right? One of the rarest things, if you are an F1 driver in 2024, is to find yourself in a car capable of winning a championship or two. So if you have the opportunity and your name is Lando Norris, why would you turn it down? And to that point, Lando said it's not smart. That even Max Verstappen of a couple of years ago, if you were to time travel him into 2024, that he wouldn't get into that team. He wouldn't take the decision to drive alongside 2024 Max because it's a poison chalice. It's too difficult. If you want to win races and championships, surely there is another team to do that in. Play the probability right. Maybe Lando has done the right thing in staying at McLaren. Maybe he stacked the odds in his favour. I'm reminded once again of Lando Norris when he spoke to this. Craig Slater interviewed him and asked him as much. The quote from Lando Norris was, to do that, I'd love to fight Max Verstappen each and every single time, but to go into his team, a team that he's built up around him after he's built it up, after the fact, and try and hone and mould that team in my image. Lando Norris termed it thus. It's just not smart. Don't disagree with him, you know. I don't disagree with him. Sometimes you've got to understand, the playing field, the competitive landscape, right, and be realistic. Because as an F1 driver, you don't race F1 for 20, 30 years. Time is a finite resource, right? And you want to manage your career as such. It's too techie, this from Lando. But I was shocked to hear about the news that they're still courting him, even knowing that he's just signed a multi-year contract. Now, we can argue back and forth over contracts. People are always getting bought out of contracts. You see that the trend in F1 is a 1+1, even if you are young. 26, 27-year-olds signing a 1 year with an option to extend for a further year. I would speculate that Lando has at best a 3-year deal, hence why Red Bull is still courting him. And see, Paddock, you're far too kind. Same driver that criticised Max for boring fans. When Max wins, he still hasn't won a race. Lando's been beaten to a win by 3 teams. Oh, Matthew Brown, NC Paddock, gone to YouTube channel. I don't know how to respond to that. I didn't appreciate the comments around Max. Because again, I think the onus is on the other 19 to make it competitive. Max is doing exactly what he should be doing, right? Excellence, 0 mistakes, focus, consistency. Can't hate Max for the current state of F1 if we're going to get techie. The hate, the blame is to be placed at the foot of the other 19, surely. Go on then, let's talk about Toto Wolff now. I can't have a stream go by and me not talk about Toto and Mercedes because it's all kicking off. He loves to make the news. I don't know whether that's Toto Wolff so frequently is he in their headlines or whether that's Christian Horner. Yeah, I get confused because every time I look in the news or on a Planet F1, I see Toto Wolff saying something else. Whether he's courting Max Verstappen, trying to roll out the red carpet to ensure that Max, 3, soon to be 4-time champion, ends up driving at Mercedes. I know it's a sore point for Toto Wolff. I know he didn't intend to lose Max the first time round, but he couldn't offer him a seat then, right? He had Nico and Lewis in there 2014, 2015, 2016. Where was the seat for Max Verstappen? And Jos Verstappen was only going to sign up to a junior program on the premise that you could offer his son a seat at the ripe old age of 17. And Toto Wolff could not do that. Hence why he lost Max Verstappen to the Red Bull junior program. I think that still bothers Toto Wolff. And I think we are seeing that in real time via a couple different things. These rogue statements at each and every single corner. To which one team principal of Red Bull, Christian Horner, responded, I think you've got more pertinent issues that you want to focus on, Toto, as opposed to courting my driver. Why don't you go and fix your fudging car? Horner said, as near as makes no difference. Infamous quote from the Netflix Drive to Survive series. You've got bigger issues to solve for. Why are you trying to sign Max Verstappen, who, by the way, is unavailable, contracted? Why don't you go and sort out your car? Christian keeps taking these jibes, you will see. I don't tend to listen to Toto Wolff much, even when he's saying that Max Verstappen has won the championship this year already and that the rest are competing for second position. Why are you talking all this truth, Toto Wolff, as if it's edifying, as if it's going to help your team? Because it's not. It's demotivating. You imagine if you were building, engineering or driving for Mercedes and your team principal comes out and says, listen, everybody's competing for second place this year. You may as well wrap it up and go home. My team principal says that. How demotivating. Why is he talking all this truth for all the bloody time? And then he comes out and talks about engineers are more important than drivers. Can you imagine Lewis Hamilton looking at that? How Lewis Hamilton feels when he's talking all that rubbish. Why are you talking so much, Toto Wolff? Like, haven't you got ish to be doing? Haven't you got a car to solve and fix for? Strategy to mend? A team to motivate and lead back to the promised land? Why are you saying all this all of a sudden? Sometimes less is more, mate. Like, what are we doing? Like, more action. Less talk, Toto. I've had enough. This dude, each and every single time. And it's pissing off Team LH. And Team LH can be a bit rogue at times and go to bat hard each and every single time for Lewis Hamilton. And I get that. But, and that's not to say that they're not immune from criticism, Team LH, particularly Colt LH. They do say some rogue things, but I understand as a Lewis Hamilton fan why they are cheesed off at this point. I'm telling you the truth. I'm like, what are you saying? Oh, Lewis, I don't understand why Lewis was so happy on the back of such a poor performance. Well, you know what, Toto? I don't understand why you were so unhappy on the back of a good performance from Toto Wolff in the sprint. The camera panned to you, mate, and you look devastated. Now, maybe this is cultural differences and Toto just being a stoic Austrian. Maybe I'm misreading the circumstance. And he said as much, that I just see and talk to truth. Maybe it is cultural differences and I'm misreading the God tier team principle. That is Toto Wolff, billionaire, man who put Mercedes and dragged them to the promised land, kicking and screaming. Maybe it's me misreading the dude, superimposing the way I want to interact or would interact with the world's press and media on Toto Wolff, who is a different person. Everybody's got different leadership talents and qualities, right? And that's inclusive of Toto Wolff. But yet and still, you can't help but be frustrated. Matthew says, I will say this, if Horner is getting agitated, Toto seems to be tempting Max behind the scenes. I think Max is curious about Mercedes for 2026. Let me give you this, Matthew. And again, I'd like to look into these things and the terms in which Toto Wolff is couching, propositioning even the 3 soon-to-be 4-time champion. Toto said something like this to Max today, didn't he? Again, propositioning, trying to roll out the red carpet for the 3 soon-to-be 4-time. Here's what Toto said. He said, you know what, if I were Max, then I wouldn't leave Red Bull before 2026. Again, the insinuation is that the new rules and regs is something that Mercedes potentially could benefit from, realise some material upside, because again, they're the engine masters. But then he goes on to say, you know what, there is more to F1 than just performance. What? Why are you even saying that, Toto? At this time, when all that you lack is performance, how could that even come out your mouth? He's a sensible man. I'm not going to do, for me not to criticise Toto Wolff is for me to do him as a team principal and as a racing mind a disservice, because I rate him highly, contrary to all this vitriol that I'm spewing on YouTube every 10 seconds. I rate Toto Wolff highly. I really, really do. I would be doing him then a disservice to not criticise him. Because why are you saying that now? What, there's more to F1 than just performance? And you're going to use that. That's the bait that you're going to try and tempt Max Verstappen with, knowing all the while that all Max Verstappen ever and has ever cared about is racing. What are we doing, Toto? That to me shows a gap in his awareness, almost like he doesn't understand the personality side of the game. If you're going to tempt Max Verstappen, don't tempt it with ambassadorial roles. He doesn't care about that stuff. Max wants to get in the car. If I know anything about Max Verstappen, he wants to get in the car and race. And when he jumps out of the car, he wants to get in the sim and continue racing in a different formula, Le Mans, WEC, whatever. So why are you saying that, Toto? You misread the room yet again, chap. And I'm a bit done with it, I'll be honest with you. Last time I talk about Mercedes, because I cannot be bothered. Lastly, F1 have announced plans to extend the point scoring positions to 12th, right? And I don't know how I feel about that. I enjoyed seeing Zhou Guanyu celebrated in his home country. The reception that the crowd gave him was incredible, right? Goosebump settings, if you ask me. But then I asked the question of the FIA and F1, are we celebrating mediocrity? You allow Zhou Guanyu to park up alongside the podium places on the grid. Why? Isn't there a way that you can celebrate Zhou Guanyu in a different way to that? He finished 14th. So why was he allowed to finish alongside the podium places? It feels a bit fake, a bit contrived, and in keeping, by the way, with all that the FIA has been doing over the past few years. Again, mismanaging expectations, focusing on the wrong things each and every single time. And I think it's an absolute mess. What's going on, champ? You guys are legends. Bruce, I like it. FIA have been mismanaging all of our expectations. Let me give you Exhibit A. You get to qualifying in the first instance for the sprint, and it looks like everybody's finished. Time has elapsed. Lewis crosses the line. He's on pole. What did the FIA do? By mistake, they've deleted Lando Norris's lap for contravening track limits at turn 16. They made the mistake. So what did they need to do? They needed to reverse out that mistake and reinstate the Lando Norris lap, didn't they? Of course. How do you think that makes fans around the world feel? Not just Lewis Hamilton fans, fans that care deeply about the sport and are watching to see the outcome. Simply, purely and simply, the metrics, the graphics that we're seeing on the screen are lying to us. There's your Exhibit A. Your Exhibit B for FIA incompetence over the race weekend that was the Chinese Grand Prix. We turn up. These guys have only inspected the track on the bloody Wednesday before the Sunday race. What are we doing? Now, I know China is a difficult country in which to operate, that they might not have been granted access. We understand all of the permutations even and the barriers to entry. We get that. But yet and still, this is the FIA. You've had a long time. You didn't know the calendar gets announced long in advance, right? What, are you telling me that you didn't know that this is something you were going to have to bake in logistically? There's your Exhibit B. Your Exhibit C. Valtteri Bottas, reliability issues during the race. As he's getting out the car, no virtual safety car, no yellow flags, no full safety car. He is literally risking his life in the middle of the bloody race. Jomo, you're a legend, sir. Risking his life in the middle of the race whilst the FIA can't pull their finger out of their proverbial. What are we doing here? That's your Exhibit C. Exhibit D, again, Max Verstappen is like 300 seconds down the road. Again, masterclass from Max, as you wouldn't expect any different from the chap at this stage. Yeah, crosses the line. We all know who's won. This isn't like quali where you're dependent on the metrics, the pictorials in real time to understand what's happening. We saw what's happened and we all knew that Max was going to win, barring accidents and barring reliability issues. Crosses the line. You look at the metrics just for confirmation and it has Lando in first place. Go on then. Make this make sense, FIA? Formula One? Twice over the course of the weekend now, I've been tricked. My eyes have tricked me. You guys are giving me information and data contrary to what's actually happened on track. If I'm trusting your metrics in your data, then Lando Norris has won this race. What are we doing? Fans around the world are looking at each other like this. Shoulders shrugged. What's going on, FIA? Formula One? Can you give us something for once over the course of a race weekend that we can trust? Can you fulfill your remit as the safeguarders, as the regulatory bodies of $1 billion sports franchise by levelling the competitive playing field and ensuring that all the participants are safe for once? Can we do that? Can we engage viewers meaningfully? Can we ensure that what they're seeing on screen matches to what's happening as far as the paid positions, first, second and third? Can we do that? Or maybe I'm asking too much. You know what, chat? Maybe I am asking too much. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm treated to too much God tier level content, God tier level sport, where they do these things properly, a la the UFC and mixed martial arts, a la boxing, a la F1 back in the bloody day. Maybe it's on me. I'll take that. I'll hold that. Maybe I'm expecting too much from the FIA. A leopard never changes its spots, right? And I don't know how, as at April of 2024, your boy Cameron expects the FIA to do better. Not likely, chap. I'm barking at the wrong tree. Prosecution rests. No further questions, Your Honour.